I think they had this old, I don't know whether it was old or whether it was just something that I always heard where people be like, kids are out, they're like sponges. You know, they always say they're like sponges. What they hear or they see, you know, they're going to mimic.
Yes.
You know, even the babies. If they hear it, you know, if they hear you curse, you know, eventually it's gonna come out around somebody else, and you might look crazy, like I don't know where they got that from. They got it from you, you know, or somebody that you had them around.
Yes.
But it's all about, you know, I had this thing that when my daughter, when she, and I can talk about me, and I can't talk about other people, but I can really talk about me, that when my daughter was growing up, they was like, why did you tell her that? And I was like, what I was supposed to do, lie? You know, one conversation that I remember, she mentioned something about, her dad said something about abortion. She came back to me and asked me, Mama, what's abortion? Well, at the time, I didn't know how to tell her. So I was like, give me a moment. Let me think about it. You know? And then I come back in a minute and let me think about how to tell you. And they was like, why would you even enter? And I said, what am I supposed to do, lie? You know, because eventually she going to come back and say, you know, Mama, you didn't tell me the truth or whatever. And I'm like, you just have to think about what's the best way, you know, not to get gross or anything, but I had to figure out the best way to tell her. And even when she was older, when she was 14, 15 years old, and her dad died and whatever, and then I would tell her, you know, we got a budget, you know, when he died or whatever, and I was like, we gotta, you know, be on a budget. And she was like, what's that? So I had to break it down to her. Your father's going to heaven. We have a limited income now, so we can't do the things that we used to do. We can still do some things, and we can probably do all of them, but we just got a budget. Instead of me going out and getting all these loans or whatever, trying to live like the Joneses, you know, I broke it down and I told her, you know, we got to sit down and we're going to have to do this. So it's just a matter of communication with anything. With anything, you just got to communicate with our youth. We got to talk to them. We can't just go around with the cell phone. Get your head out the cell phone. Let's talk. Mm-hmm. Stop texting. Let's talk. Yes, you know, yes. I mean, but we done got into, and I know everybody's gotten on this speed track with everything got to have it right now, mm-hmm. you know, whatever. But we got to take a step back sometimes and talk to our kids, or we're going to lose a lot more kids.
Yes, I agree. You know, we were talking about tell the truth. It's kind of, you know, I got to say it, some of mine. We have a president that's noted for not telling the truth. Some counters say some 65% of the time he doesn't tell the truth. But now you have children who watch the TV and they watch him say things, mm-hmm. and well, now what do you tell your child? Well, this is president. How would you discuss that with Amani, our 17-year-old high school student?
Well, we've had the conversation about voting, you know, growing into that when you become of age, you got to vote because your voting is your what? Voice, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's how we get certain people in office when we don't vote. And mm-hmm. then when you don't vote, you can't complain. Because if you don't vote, you giving up your voice.
Yes. Yeah.
So don't complain about nothing that nobody does when you complain. And that's in the local districts and all the way to the top. So our ancestors died for us to vote.
Yes.
So, you know, we got to vote.
You know, I'm glad you brought that in because sometime back we checked, at least I did, our voting pattern here in Columbia County. And it turned out to be 22% in two major elections. Only 22% of of blacks voted.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's not good.
Not even half.
Yeah, that's not good. And but when things go wrong, they come and want you to make amends, rectify, help me. I need help. They did this to me. They did that to me. But a lot of that, I think, can be corrected if we get the right people in the right places politically. I'm talking about politically.
Right.
I surely would love to have a true Christian in as the president or as the superintendent or as whatever it is. You want them everywhere, really, not just in those positions. But you want somebody who's going to be, I guess, how do I put it, Christ-like in those positions. Somebody who has empathy for others.
Right.
Because we've had to struggle. I don't have to tell you that. You know that already. Our folk had to struggle, and as you said earlier, some of them even died for me to have the right to vote.
Correct.
And I don't need to ignore that. I need to carry that banner high, that torch high. I need to vote.
Right.
Every time there's an election, I need to vote. And that should happen to all of us.
True.
We need to vote. And as you said, if you don't vote, you don't have a voice.
Don't have a voice.
Right. Right. I'm going to get off this soapbox right now. Now, in view of the recent shootings, hold on, caller. Just a moment, caller. Call back. Please call us back. Thank you so much. In view of the recent shootings, especially in schools, you know, it's amazing how right after the shooting, everybody's up in an uproar. We got to do this. We got to protect our children. We do. And as time goes by, nothing changes.
It dies down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you? Oh, it's just it. We look to our legislators. They appear to be afraid to do something about this, and I won't bother that. How can we as parents keep our children secure? And we just mentioned one way is to vote for people who want to look out for the interests of their children, not big corporations and big money people. But how do we do that?
Ms. Patterson, I'm gonna let you go with that one, and then I'll come in on the end.
How can we keep our children secure?
We can try with more communication between teachers and parents and other guardians.
And keep on.
And we can also, as well, as insurance, we should make sure our children are insured. We have to think about this now because of how violent the world is now.
Well, yeah, that's true. We do need to insure our youth as well as our seniors now because of the violence, and she's right about that. We have all different types of programs like our senior choice. Programs that we have a policy that starts at $11 a month, and that's a meal at Wendy's.
Yeah.
So that's something that we didn't have to think about years and years ago. But we do need to listen, and we do need to take stance because the day's gone about the day is gone that people say, well, I'll be gone, and so it won't be an issue to me. We have to think about other things to keep them secure in all types of ways. And it's sad because of the fact that we have to start thinking about what happens if my child goes to school or goes to the corner and doesn't come back. So one thing we need to pray. That's first of all, we need to pray with our kids, and pray for everyone's children, not just our own, but everyone. We need to, as far as we got to bridge the gap. It takes a community, and it still comes back to it takes a community to raise a family. And we used to be a community that bound together. If one down the street was struggling or whatever, we gave a helping hand.
True.
And if one, or either we came over, the kids came over, and you fed them or whatever. And like I said, we can't even talk to kids now. So I don't know how we go back to that. I don't know if there's a way that we can go back to that. But we still need to find a way, because we had a few months ago where a parent brought a gun to school for their child. And I'm like, all these shootings, and you bring a gun to school for your child. So what do we do? So I don't know. It's just we have to pray for one another.
Yes. Now, job security has become a problem in today's world. How can your agency help those who are unemployed? How can your agency help those folk who are unemployed, or can they help in that respect?
Well, we are doing a mass hiring here in Columbia County and Duval County at this time for an insurance agency. We're having a meeting this next Sunday at 136 North Marion Street at 3 p.m. We have to start teaching our youth and our young people that there's more to than working at McDonald's or as going out on the streets and stealing stuff. So we have to encourage them to look to integrity as far as and look for the future. That's why we're doing a seminar this Sunday as far as that we're going to be hiring. So, if anyone that wants to come out or wants to find out when the next meeting, they can check the website at keepthedreamsalive.org or call into the station or, and give us a call or, and then we'll let them know when the next date that we'll be having in the location.
Now, give that again for us. Some people, we have some slow writers.
Next Sunday, we'll be meeting at 136 North Main Street here in Lake City, Florida at 3 p.m. We will be having hiring, giving out information for hiring. We have a website, keepthedreamsalive.org, that we have a contact us that you can fill out and send, and we get an email, and one of my teams will get it and respond, that we can let you know when the next presentation that we'll be doing, and that's at keepthedreamsalive.org, or call into the station, and I'm quite sure they'll get the information to Mr. Presley or myself, and we'll get with them.
Now you mentioned hiring. What type of hiring?
Well, at the particular time, we are hiring for a number of things. We will be doing a presentation as for Sunday that we'll be looking at insurance agents that we will be hiring. And that's for those ones that are tired of working hard and getting a small paycheck, because 4 hours, they will be trained that if they work 4 hours a week and get, as far as say you do 4 sales in 1 week, they'll make $72,000 a year.
That's not, that makes me want to be. Yes. Now you see, hire 4
So if they make, say for example, they make 4 sales a week. They're at the end of the year they'll be made $72,000.
That's 4 sales
Just
a week.
a
Every
week. It can be
every
4 in one day. It can be 4 in 2 days. It can be 1 sale a day for 4 days. You'll make 72. Now, of course, if you do more, quite naturally, you'll make more. If you do less, you'll make less.
Right. Okay. Insurance. That's now what the company is. What?
It's Destiny of Hope Insurance and Annuities.
Yeah.
And it's we have we write for Occidental and Aflac.
And the schooling is you go to school how long?
You can go on in the class that we're gonna have. It's basically we'll give information about the structure for you to get your license, because you do have to take a state license, but you go through a program that's on your computer at your leisure. It gives you 30 days to complete, and then you take your state test. Some people have finished it in 7 days, and they take their state test.
Okay. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah. You know, recently, Satia retired some 500 people.
Oh, wow.
That's so right here in Lake City, you have some 500 people who are jobless, and somebody might be interested in what you just.
Well, they need to call in or either set up to reserve their seats, because to see if they can get in this week or next week, because we'll be doing a weekly meeting here in Lake City to hire as many as we can, but they need to call and reserve because of the fact that seats will be limited each meeting.
Mm-hmm. Now insurance. What are there other areas?
Yes, we have other areas. We have travel agents. We have credit repair, and then we have home health care.
Now, if with each of those jobs, they would be, you train those. They would
Not
be trained,
just myself.
Not you, but their
Right.
training will be provided.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Is there a cost with the training?
No, there's no cost with the training, but you do have to pay for your own state license. We'll pay the majority of it. We pay 70%, and then they pay a $39.99 fee to take the class. But we pay $160, and then they pay the $39.99
For the exam.
for the exam.
Yes. Anything else you want to say about that? Because that's kind of exciting to me.
Well,
we want to go back to work.
Yes, right. Yeah, but just like I say, they need to call and reserve their seats. You know?
Yes.
Because we all need insurance. We were told a story when we were born, but we don't know when we were born. We just told the story. Just like we don't know, other than the story, what's your story going to be when you leave?
Yes. Now, when a teen is raised in challenging situations, how can we help them? What can you do for a teen who's raised in a challenging situation? Do you have
Miss Patterson, we was talking about this a little bit coming over, so you tell me what you think about that.
And you don't have to be shy. You can.
I think that it's kind of based on the team themselves. Like, you have some teams that want help, but they don't know how to get it. And for them, you should always look out for them. Like, always look for those ones that's like reaching out and trying to do better than their circumstance or the situation they're in. But don't push them into like the group of those who don't want to go anywhere or don't want to do anything about their situation. But just don't leave those who don't want to do anything about this situation. Don't just leave them. At least try to help them get through their situation. Because if you just put them all in one box, that's how we lose so many bright teens today. So.
Very good. Mrs. James, are you on any broadcast stations in Jacksonville or anywhere?
Yes, we're on. I'm on WCGL on Thursdays at 3:30. Every Thursday.
That's WCGL.
CGL. That's 1360 AM and 94.7 FM.
Yes. Now, what's that about?
Basically, I bring on teens like Amani, and we have group sessions, and then I bring in leaders in the communities, parents, and we talk about issues that people don't want to talk about.
Yes. Now, our time is far spent, but go back to the event that you had and announce that to our listeners, please.
This coming up Sunday, we're having an event, a hiring event at 136 North Marion Street in Lake City, Florida. And you just have to call, if you call into the station, or go on our website at keepthedreamsalive.org, and dreams is plural, and fill out our contact information to reserve your seat. We would love to have you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure having both of you, Minister Yolanda Austin James and Amani Patterson, 17-year-old Wilson High School senior. Thank you both for being here. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for inviting us.